In 1513, an exiled diplomat named Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a line that still terrifies men who read it today. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. He wasn't writing about romance. He was writing about power. But 500 years later, his observation explains something almost no man is taught to see. The silent test happening in every relationship. Tests you're being given right now, without even knowing it. And if you don't know they exist, you are already failing them. Here's the uncomfortable truth. She is not testing you because she's manipulative. She's testing you because trust cannot be spoken into existence. It has to be proven under pressure. Machiavelli understood this about power. Psychologists now understand it about people. And once you see the pattern, you'll never misread a relationship the same way again. In attachment psychology, there's a documented pattern called protest behavior. First mapped by researcher Amir Levine. When someone creates a small distance, a delayed reply, a canceled plan, a quieter tone, they are not always punishing you. Sometimes they are measuring your reaction. Do you chase, panic, over-explain? Or do you stay grounded? Machiavelli wrote that a prince who begs for loyalty has already lost it. The same law applies here. Anxious pursuit signals low value. Calm consistency signals security. The one-line action. When you feel the urge to chase an explanation, wait 24 hours before responding. Composure is the test's actual answer. This is where most men fail without realizing it. She says something sharp, cancels last minute, or pushes a small boundary. Not out of cruelty, but because humans are wired to discover what a line actually is. Machiavelli called this a difference between being feared and being loved. Love depends on the other person's mood. Respect depends on consistent consequence. If you fold every time, you haven't proven your kind. You've proven your boundaries are negotiable. The one-line action. State the boundary once calmly, then let the consequence, not your anger, do the enforcing. Here's a pattern underscore interrupt for you. Pause and ask yourself honestly, was the last time you were unavailable to her on purpose? If you can't remember, that's your answer. There's a real concept behind this. The scarcity heuristic. Humans assign higher value to things that are harder to access. Machiavelli advised princes to never be fully available to every request. Total accessibility erodes authority. In relationships, the man who has no life outside her attention becomes unremarkable. Not unlovable, unremarkable. The one-line action. Protect one part you're weak. Training, work, friends. That has nothing to do with her. That's not selfishness. That's structure. Test 4, the reaction test. This is the most misunderstood one. A woman will sometimes create mild conflict, not to hurt you, but to observe your emotional regulation under stress. This connects to a real dynamic researchers call emotional reactivity testing. Do you spiral? Do you go silent for days? Or do you stay steady while still being direct? Machiavelli's core insight applies directly here. It is better to be respected through consistency than loved through appeasement, because appeasement is fragile and consistency is not. The one-line action. When triggered, name the emotion out loud calmly. I'm frustrated. Let's talk in 10 minutes. Instead of reacting instantly. Case study. The man who passed every test without knowing it. Consider a pattern that repeats endlessly in real relationships. A man stays calm when she pulls away. He holds a boundary without rage. He keeps his own life running instead of collapsing into hers. He responds instead of reacting. Nothing about this looks impressive from the outside. But this is precisely the composite profile she was unconsciously testing for. Not perfection, not dominance, but stability under pressure. Machiavelli's princes who survived weren't the loudest. They were the ones whose behavior didn't change when circumstances got difficult. Case study. The man who failed without knowing why. Now the inverse. A man over-explains at the first sign of distance. He abandons his own boundaries to avoid conflict. He disappears from his friends and hobbies to prove devotion. He reacts with anger or desperation to the smallest test. None of this is a character flaw. It's simply an untrained instinct. But it fails every test simultaneously. And often the relationship doesn't end with an argument. It ends with quiet withdrawal. Because the tests were already answered. The reframe that changes everything. These tests are not manipulation. They are the same evolutionary and psychological mechanism that exists in every human bond, a way of verifying under real conditions whether someone's calm words match their actual behavior. Machiavelli's entire philosophy rested on one idea. Appearances are cheap. Behavior under pressure is the only real evidence. That's exactly what's being measured here. So the next time you feel tested, distance, a sharp comment, sudden unavailability, don't take it personally. Take it as information. Stay calm. Hold your line. Keep your own life intact. That is the actual answer key Machiavelli handed us 500 years ago, hidden in plain sight. And if you think you've passed every test I just named, wait until next time, because there's one final test almost no one recognizes, the one that decides whether she stays or walks for good. That's what we're breaking down next.